pledge
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. If I could have the roll call of the members of the board. Mr. Fox.
We have 9 members present.
Thank you. We do have Corey online. Agenda revisions, Dr. Hertzell.
I have none.
All right. Recognition of students and staff.
All right. Before we get started, Northeast District will honor our veterans on November 11th. Each building has planned special activities, including presentations from our local veterans. We encourage everyone to take a moment of silence to recognize and thank all of our veterans. And we also want to thank those who have served and those who are currently serving our country. Thank you. CLASS stands for Character, Leadership, Attitude, Service, Selfless, or Strive for Excellence. The purpose of the CLASS Act Emerging Leader Award project is to promote well-rounded, publicly educated students. In addition, the goal is to inspire students to continue their education and become productive, caring citizens. Dr. Rainey?
Thank you, Dr. Arcel. Good evening, everyone. So before we get started, I'm leaving the high school 15 minutes ago, and dance practice is going on in our cafeteria, and I literally have to drag Emily out of practice. So that's kind of tells you where we're at right now. We are very excited to nominate Miss Emily Babashko for the Class Act Award. Emily is a student with a remarkable academic record. She's involved in a wide range of extracurricular activities, and she is a true leader among her peers. Academically, Emily consistently performs at the highest level, currently maintaining a 4.426 GPA and ranked in the top 10% of her class at Northeast High School. Emily is engaged in a rigorous curriculum including honors, advanced placement, and college courses at Northeast. In addition to her academic coursework, Emily has also competed at the state level in PGIS and National History Day. Emily has also competed at the national level in the Life Smarts competition. Her participation in these activities demonstrates her ability to conduct in-depth research and compete successfully at the highest levels in diverse academic environments. Emily is an esteemed scholar, but her ability to lead and take on challenging situations is equally impressive. She has taken on critical roles amongst various organizations, such as serving as president and treasurer of Student Council and captain of Model UN, Life Smarts, and the golf teams. For many students, these are titles, but to Emily, they're much more. Emily pours her heart and soul into these activities. For example, Emily helped direct and organize Northeast's first ever Neon Run this spring, or this fall. The Neon Run was a fundraiser for Student Council. Nearly 150 people participated, and the event raised over $2,000 for our Student Council. This event required coordination with multiple stakeholders, including district officials, first responders, and various businesses and organizations in our community. This showcases Emily's strong logistical, collaborative, and leadership skills. Emily is one of the most enthusiastic students at Northeast High School. Whether she's in the classroom, leading a club or activity, or competing on a state or national level, Emily always has a smile on her face, as you can see, and she gives her absolute best every single day. And sometimes we say that, but she truly exemplifies that every single day. We wholeheartedly nominate Miss Emily Babashko for the Northwest Pennsylvania Class Act Emerging Leader Award. Ladies and gentlemen.
Right over here. Congratulations.
Good. Emily's going to go back to practice.
Dr. Garland.
All right. I'm going to take some time here to present our October Road to Gold Students of the Month. Let's start with Mr. Jude Nagelson, who also just came from practice, this time basketball though. That's why he's a little bit sweaty. So, for the month of October, Mr. Nagelson here was nominated by Mr. Courier, his 6th grade science teacher. And he nominated Jude because Our goals this month were respect and relationships. Mr. Courier feels that Jude is the perfect nominee because he has seen him on a regular basis being kind and respectful to all of his teachers. He listens, he raises his hand, he shares respectfully, and even if he has a different opinion or thought, he does it in a way that allows others to keep lines of communication open instead of yelling or getting angry with one another. In my class, he always works well with his partner no matter who it is, and that is a skill not all middle schoolers have. He has shown us on multiple occasions that he cares for his friends, but he is also not afraid to stand up against what is wrong or to do what is right. That takes a lot of courage and self-respect to be able to do that. He's well liked and respected by his peers as well, and this is why Mr. Courier feels that Mr. Jude Nicholson is a Road to Gold nominee, and he was selected as our boy winner. Congratulations, Jude. Next up is Miss Mackenzie Beal. Ms. Beal was nominated by Mrs. Davis, her language arts teacher, who says, Mackenzie continuously shows respect inside and outside of the classroom. She is effortlessly kind to those around her. She shows respect in many ways, including completion of assignments. She's always on task. She encourages her classmates to do better. She raises her hand. The list goes on and on. When it comes to relationships, Mackenzie is always helpful to those around her, even if they are not close friends. She works well in groups and always puts forth her best effort. When interacting with adults, Mackenzie uses her manners, follows directives the first time they're given, and is always very kind. Overall, Mackenzie is the type of student that you want other kids to be around due to her gentle and respectful nature. Let's give a big round of applause to Ms. Miss Emma Uteg. I promise I'll make you famous. All right? Emma was nominated by not one but two teachers, so you do have to stand here just a little bit longer. All right? So Ms. Nightinger and Mrs. Brigham both nominated her. Ms. Nightinger says, Emma is a wonderful candidate for this Road to Gold award. She consistently demonstrates kindness, empathy, and integrity in all that she does. She treats both peers and teachers with genuine respect and has built some very great relationships with her teachers and peers along the way. Her positivity and go-with-the-flow attitude bring us joy and keep us calm during stressful situations. She's a positive role model who works well with everyone she encounters, listens thoughtfully, and values others' opinions. Her warm personality and overall attitude help create a positive classroom environment. She truly embodies what it means to build respectful and meaningful relationships each and every day. She's the perfect candidate for this month's Road to Gold. And Mrs. Brigham doubles down and says, she takes the time to hold a conversation with me every single day. She speaks in a respectful tone. She tells me that she enjoys my class and gives me ideas on how to make our class even better. She contributes to the daily operation of our classroom by handing out materials, raising her hand, and encouraging others to participate. I enjoy her presence each and every day. Can we please give Emma Utah. Next up is Mr. Austin Zurich, who is not here tonight. He is online, and I do just want to recognize Mr. Zurich is down at Pittsburgh Children's Hospital getting some medical attention at this time. He is a phenomenal student as well and was nominated by both Mrs. Kern, our school counselor, and Mrs. Adams, our SAP coordinator. Mrs. Adams writes, Austin has been dealing with a lot in his life recently, and he continues to remain respectful to those around him. He always advocates for himself in a positive manner, which allows him to continue to have great relationships with everyone he meets. Austin is a really great kiddo. And Mrs. Kern says, Austin is and has always been extremely respectful every time we interact. I have also seen him showing respect and kindness towards other staff and students. Despite going through some difficult times, he continues to show up and demonstrate respect to everyone he meets. Let's give Austin a huge round of applause. And last but not least, our 8th graders, Miss Lucy Kitchen, come on down. Miss Kitchen was nominated by Mrs. Stetson, our 8th grade learning support teacher and dance coach and everything theater arts, because that's just who she is. Miss Stetson has worked with Lucy through the casting for Zombie Prom this year as an 8th grade. Through this experience, Mrs. Stetson has been able to build strong positive connections with Lucy specifically, and she has also seen Lucy building connections with other students in this high school production. Lucy exhibits a respectful attitude and a collaborative spirit through each and every rehearsal. She says, I know that Lucy will continue to be a valued member of our theater community at the Northeast School District for many years to come, and I am so excited to see where her future on stage takes her. Let's give Lucy Kitchen I don't think I guys see Mr. Trevor Mancuso here, but he is our other 8th grade winner who was also nominated by 2 teachers, Mr. Scatella and Mrs. Brown. Mr. Scatella says, Trevor consistently demonstrates exceptional respect and care for those around him. He's always kind, using polite language such as please and thank you without being prompted to do so. He actively supports his peers, whether by helping them with tasks, cleaning up after group activities, or encouraging them to do their best. He holds both himself and his classmates to high standards and genuinely wants to see everyone succeed. His actions create a positive, respectful environment, and everyone feels valued. He's a role model for building strong, supportive relationships and showing respect in both words and actions. And Mrs. Brown, our emotional support teacher, says, this month's focus was relationships and respect, and I'd like to nominate Trevor Mancuso. Trevor is showing great growth in how he communicates and works with others. He listens respectfully, uses positive coping skills, and takes responsibility for all of his actions. Trevor is building stronger relationships with teachers and classmates than he ever has before, and he continues to make our school a more caring and respectful place to learn. Let's give Trevor a round of applause as well. Have everybody scooch in a little bit. Smile. All right, gotcha.
So next up, we have Morgan Gully and Dr. Rennie to present the Words in Motion ELA course.
Yeah, so this time I bring backup for the presentation. So Ms. Scully, you gonna come on up? Yeah. So, 2 weeks ago I presented, or 3 weeks ago, I presented Words in Motion, the new proposed ELA elective that we'd like to offer next year. Mrs. Scully is here to do a much better job presenting what the course is actually going to be about, and she also came with a shiny new Canva presentation like Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Orchid. So I'm going to let her talk about the course, and then I'm going to address some of the questions that were posed to myself a couple weeks ago. So Mrs. Scully, just go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, okay. So I teach English at the high school. I have freshmen, and I also have HE Literature, which is the 12th grade AP class. The kind of rationale started with this course was conversations with Ms. Fitch here. To me, reading is more than just a hobby. It's a kind of gateway to knowledge, imagination, empathy, personal growth. What I've noticed in my English classes, there are kids coming to school with books to read less and less. I will maybe have one per class, if that are reading books outside of school, which to me, as a huge reader, makes me very sad. So I kind of came up with this class with Ms. Fitch to get kids to read and to enjoy reading and to really discover a passion for reading that will make them lifelong readers and learners and discoverers. So that's kind of the rationale for this. I believe the next slide is curriculum. I tried to break this down so that it was more introduction. We kind of see what authors do, how they connect in the different genres of literature, and then they would kind of build to explore their own, what they enjoy. Because I don't want to make a kid who likes historical fiction, read a book about science fiction. That may be something they're not into. I want them to like reading. And so exploring that and looking at that, I think will make it really personalized and make it more meaningful to them. I think the next one is community. Yeah. So we have some really great community resources here in Northeast, not only just our school library, but we have our great library of McCord that I would love for them to visit and get to know more. I have maybe 1 or 2 kids that have ever mentioned to me going to the library and checking out books and doing things there, which again, I would love for them to explore more and be more familiar in the community. We also have a really great local bookstore at TIA. I'd love for them to see that and to know where to go for books. And a part of the class, I'd also like to talk about, the culture of reading, people going to coffee houses and kind of studying and having this whole sort of culture that is created when you're reading. So maybe trips to the Bean to kind of discover that as well would be great. So this is my research piece. I found some research that discussed how kids just aren't reading anymore. They're not picking up books, they're picking up their phones, which that is kind of where we're at today. But kids that read and that kids are picking up books, they do better on literature standardized testing. One thing that I'm noticing in my classroom is that reading stamina is not there. They do not take the time to keep reading. They give up after a certain amount of time. And so when you're not teaching that skill and you're not utilizing that skill, it's hard when they're taking a test that is all day. They don't want to finish the passages. They don't want to answer the questions. They're not writing to their best ability because they're tired. And so I think by giving them books and making them read and creating that stamina, they're going to do better on the tests. I think it's there. So this is my kind of research piece that, the more that we're having kids read, the better it's going to be. So we polled the population, 8th grade through 12th grade. We had a lot of 12th graders, a lot of those middle grades. We did not get a whole lot from them, but we got some 8th grade correspondence, which was great. So this is just a breakdown of the kind of poll responses that we got. I think the next slide talks about how often do you read? 32% said never. Never. They do not read ever. And even 42% said 1 to 2 times a week. So you're looking at a staggering almost 75% of kids that are not picking up a book. And if they are, it's 1 to 2 times a week, right? So that to me is a very scary statistic of these pollers. And then I asked them if they'd be interested in sort of our elective here that we have. And sort of 75% of them said they were either interested, somewhat interested, or very interested. And so that to me is a good indication that, we do have a population that would like to try to read or try to reach out or get out of their sort of comfort zone and discover literature in a different way. I just have my work study.
We're gonna switch spots on Mrs. Gully.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so then I'll finish with some of the questions that you guys posed a couple weeks ago. And Dr. Blyson and I have been in some correspondence in the last couple weeks. So the first thing that I said that was lacking from when I presented to you guys was we didn't have any data to show you that students may or may not be interested. So you saw that. Mrs. Gully got 264 responses. So a couple things stuck out to me when I looked at that data, and Mrs. Gully hit it. A third of our students don't read. Now, I don't know how you guys would have been if you would have been given this survey when you were in high school. I probably would have been that much more, but that is a pretty alarming statistic. But something else that jumped out is, although we have a big percentage of students that don't read on a regular basis, we still have 70% of students that said that at least they're somewhat interested in taking a course like this. And the 30% and 70% I'm going to come back to because they are connected to some correlated data in terms of the keystones. The next thing was seat counts in courses. So I have made the statement over the last 3 or 4 years at the high school that we want 10 students in a class to offer a class. Now we don't hit that every single time. There are honors, AP, college level courses, or maybe some really unique electives like guitar, where we necessarily don't get 10 students, but we try to cap those courses at 10. We made decisions, like Physics 2 AP a couple years ago. We had 3 kids signed up. Those are top level kids, but I said we're not offering it because we only had 3 kids. That's a difficult conversation with students, with parents, and with the teacher who teaches the course, right? So we tried to maintain that balance in terms of 10 in a course. The board there's some conversation that we talked about possibly increasing that to 15. If that's what Dr. Hartzell and the school board would like us to do, we will do that. I would caution that directive though, we may be shutting the doors opportunities for some of our students. Again, we have some classes that are very unique at the school, and if we shut it down, if we cap it at 15, there are some classes, several classes, that we probably won't be able to offer at the high school. So that's another conversation that maybe we can have down the road. The other thing I talked about was teacher evaluations. I said, if you want to be a distinguished teacher, it's hard to be a distinguished teacher if you don't have students really engaged in the process. So for those of you that aren't familiar with our observation model, we use the Danielson framework. There's 4 domains. And within those 4 domains, there's multiple components. So there's 22 components spread across the 4 domains. Of the 22 components, 17 of them have statements about students driving their learning within the class. So for example, in domain 1, this is under planning and preparation. The teacher fosters student ownership of learning and personal development, promoting student success and autonomy. In domain 2, the teacher encourages students to take risks and show initiative in modifying their own learning. And that could go on and on and on. But many of the statements in terms of the evaluation process, can a teacher become distinguished if they don't have students drive the class? Yes, but it's difficult to do that. And Mrs. Gully's framework is trying to get students to take ownership of their own learning. The last one, keystones. That's a big deal. There's a couple components with that. We originally thought about making this just an upper level course, and when I presented this to you guys a few weeks ago, I said it was going to be 11th to 12th grade. That would not impact our keystone preparation because Mrs. Gully tests all the English 9 honor students in 9th grade, and she gets about 95 to 100% of the students are proficient. Then we test the rest of the students in 10th grade. So in 11th and 12th grade, right, every student has already taken the keystone at least once, sometimes twice. So it wouldn't impact keystone preparation. However, based on the conversations that Mrs. Gully and I have been having, and Ms. Borgia, who's the department head of the DLA department, you know, as she said in her presentation, grading's not a bad thing. And if we get more books and we give more opportunities for students to read and to write, we're not sure that really is going to hurt our standardized test scores in any way. It's probably going to increase standardized test scores. Another thing that we talked about was, you know, our scores aren't where we want them to be. And in a few weeks, the entire admin team is gonna get in front of the new board and talk about keystone scores and data. And there's some data in there that we definitely need to improve upon, and we'll take ownership in doing that. But at the high school, literature has actually been the highest area in terms of keystone scores that we've had, and it's been consistent over the last 3 years. So we are predicting that we are gonna have about 70 to 71% of our students proficient in ELA when we present this data to you. Remember we talked about 70%? 30% of our students are not proficient on the Keystone exam. 30% of our students don't read. Well, there's a correlation there. And perhaps there's something that we could do with this course to try to maybe reel some of those kids in. Will we ever get 100%? Probably not. But maybe this is a step that we could take in the right direction to maybe close the gap in some of those areas. So I think I addressed a lot of the questions. Does anybody have any additional questions for myself or Mrs. Gully?
Go ahead. Dick.
Well, I was gonna make a comment is, years ago, you remember Glenn we had a reading program down here where they encouraged kids to read books all summer long and year round. And at the time, we followed that through all the classes, and when he retired, what happened, Jay? That just fall apart?
Yeah, pretty much, and I guess one of the things that I'm concerned about is this course has a lot of wonderful things in it, and thank you, Morgan, for the hard work that you put into it, but I would argue that everything that's in this course should be in every English class at the high school, not a separate class. And I say that from my personal experience of doing it. Right now, I believe Ms. Fitch is only available because she's teaching other classes 3 periods during a 2-day period. And we know that kids pick up books because teachers encourage them to pick up books.
And because teachers build connections with kids build connections with those teachers, and they want to do things.
Correct. However, sometimes you have to guide kids to books, and there are 3 people that sit at this table that had me in English class, and they know that against their will sometimes they read books, but they read books as part of the curriculum. And I think that we shortchanged our kids because we're focusing on keystones, but our content needs to include all this stuff. And when you say that we have 70% of our kids are proficient, well, that's the bottom of the standard. proficient is the bottom of the Keystone Standard. We wanna get kids closer to advanced and more kids to advanced. And I would argue that all of this should be in every English class that a kid is taking as the required English credit at Northeast High School.
So I think that once you get this rolling, we ought to have you ladies talk to the people down in the elementary center. Let's get kids coming right from kindergarten, get them excited.
It's an elective too, like, you know what I mean, like, just like middle of honor, you learn about middle of honor in your social studies classes too, it's just that little branch of like, let's blow this up and really.
I would also argue that you're only gonna get the kids that really want to read, that don't have any other time to read, but during school.
Yeah, I have a couple questions too. In reading through your curriculum that you provided with this course, you mentioned that they're gonna have different genres to choose from based on their choice. How, are you gonna give them a book list to choose from? And if not, what if they choose a book that you've never read? How are you gonna test their knowledge of it and their, I know you had some testing in there. How do you plan to balance that?
So, yeah, so it would be more genre specific. So like elements of historical fiction, where are you finding them? Are they relating to the genre as a whole? Like, where are the specific examples? And then having them talk with other kids that are reading different things and comparing, contrasting, where are you finding these different things? How is the author doing this? How are they doing it differently in these other books? Is it effective? You know, kind of judging it. The book list would be, I mean, we'd start with the library.
Right, so then we have tools in the library, the electronic databases that our school pays for, and we also have in collaboration with McCord Memorial Library too, with Power Library that we get, that is amazing. And they have resources that are available in there. There's entire databases just for English and books and all of that. So, you know, that's the learning process of being able to do that.
So will there be any limit of what books they can choose?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something we have to talk about in terms of, I mean, so we have the approved list up in the library, right?
Yeah.
And that's right now that has been approved by the school board based on what's already in the
There's
library.
a couple thousand books there, so.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I have one other question too. You gave us statistics that 35% don't read. Do you have anything to say that those 35% were interested in this course? Because if they're not, it's not gonna do any good for them.
Right, I mean, I didn't go like kid by kid, individual, to see if they said never and then weren't interested. But, I mean, I would try my best to encourage anybody. I mean, I'm
Sure,
teaching,
I get
yeah.
that. I get that.
I mean, I teach 9th grade and I have also AP Lit, so I have the kids who do read outside of school and I have kids who probably don't, you know, and admit that they don't. And I've read 78 books this year so far, so I'm an avid reader. So I'm constantly like pushing, and if I do see a kid with a book that I've read, like we're having that conversation, or suggesting books. I'm trying as best as I can to get books in the hands of these kids, because I know the value of it. But
It's a lifelong learning.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you plan on having this at 9th grade?
Well, so
And
originally when
teaching
I
early?
presented it to you guys, it was 11th and 12th grade. But I think we're leaning towards, I think it's gonna be more of a conversation between the English department and myself on whether we open it up 9th and 12th.
I mean, it would make sense if it's before Keystone, if you wanted to affect
Yeah.
that. But again, I would echo what Dr. Blaisdell said, why aren't we teaching this kind of thing in our normal English
So
classes?
part of it is what you said a couple of questions ago,
That being,
is that all of these books, right? So a lot of the teachers use the same book over and over again. They become experts in that content. You know, it's scary to use new resources that you might necessarily be as familiar with.
does
You
it
know,
make
perhaps
sense to expand?
this is a way to experiment with that.
Yeah.
And see how it goes, take a risk. And then again, I have a daughter who really struggles with reading, does not like to read. And part of the reason she doesn't like to read is because she doesn't like what she's reading. You know, when she has something that's about Taylor Swift, she's all about reading that.
Sure.
But when reading something about the scientific method or whatever, she doesn't compete with her.
I totally get that.
And I'm perhaps this is a way to get those students that, you know, like my daughter, just are, you know, apprehensive to read things because they always get pushed
I
to
guess my
say
real
things.
question is why don't we give some of that freedom of them to pick a book or two throughout the year in those regular English classes? Yeah, we all went through having to read this book, this book, this book, but why don't we weave in some of that and allow them that opportunity in normal English classes?
Well, we could do that.
It's been something that I've definitely thought about, like literature circles is pretty huge in the English department community kind of thing. I would say personally, like, we are doing this in the room, like, I'm not sitting here saying we're not teaching books and that kind of stuff at all. This would just be an extension of that. I will say it is very hard to teach whole novels at times, because it feels like what you're doing, I mean, especially in 9th grade, is very cursory at times, because you're trying to hit so many things, and prepare them and get them ready, and it's slowed down a lot of what we're doing. The pace, it feels very slow at times. So sometimes we don't get into a whole novel, but we are reading stories, we're reading excerpts, we're reading nonfiction, we're doing poetry, we're doing Romeo and Juliet, we're doing, you know, as much as we can with the time that we have with them. And like I said, I can only speak for 9th grade, but in 12th grade, we're in AP.
Yeah.
I just brought my kids to the library.
Carries them over, like they do, the resources are utilized, this is just an elective to give more, just like
Maybe
a
to add to
studies
that,
class.
what I said last time is, we don't have a lot of electives for our students that do really like to read.
Right.
Where you guys, hopefully, are gonna approve a science class. We have a ton of science classes and a lot of math classes, and we have students that are really into science and math, and they have a lot of options. We don't have a lot of options for students that aren't as math and science driven.
We just wanna complement what else is going on.
Matt, did you have a question?
I did, but it's covered.
Okay. Katie?
So I think I like the idea of the youth-driven, self-exploratory learning, because the data does show that is important. My concern is the kids who are not picking up the books, that are not interested, and I don't know how you guys are going to engage them. Because as we broaden their attention span, they'll be able to read longer things, we'll do better on the test scores, like this isn't, so engaging the kids who already love and are going to pick up the books anyways, you know what I mean? Like, I'm more concerned about that 30% that's refusing to pick up a book.
So part of it is, I think, what I said a couple minutes ago. I'm not putting Ms. Fitch and Mrs. Gully on the spot right now, but if I did a poll of popular teachers in the high school, I bet they'd rank up there. And if they are able to get this off the ground, and kids start talking about, hey, you know, maybe I was part of that 30%, and I never read before, but my friend took the class, and they did some pretty cool things in the class. And by the way, Miss Gully and Miss Fitch, and maybe that entices them. But honestly, that's where we're at right now. Like, we need other hooks to get kids in there.
Yes. You need word of mouth advertising, and this is how you get it. When teachers are willing to put themselves in a position that makes education seem that it belongs to the student. And I commend you ladies for coming up with this idea. I think it's wonderful. And I'm not saying the concerns aren't necessarily needed to be voiced, but change needs to start somewhere. It's not gonna start macro, it's gonna start micro, and this is a very wonderful micro example of where real change would happen in the classroom. Thank you very much.
I agree, Chuck, and I think this is something possibly down the road. You gotta get that folder started. You gotta get it rolling, like Chuck said. You gotta start somewhere and go. And so I think you really nailed it, that there is an attention span problem right now. Every kid lives for a 3-minute video on TikTok. They can do everything. Everything's 3 minutes, boom. No offense, Dr. Blystone, but back in the day, William Shakespeare was not my friend.
I know, it wasn't good.
A yellow book called Cliff Notes was a lot easier. You know, but if you look at it, it's always been that attention span, and if your heart is not into it, you're not gonna read the book. You're not gonna read it. If William Shakespeare, I'm never gonna sit down and be like, I can't wait for the next, you know. That's not me. But we have to find it, and I think the more we can engage our students to be like, here's a genre, pick one, maybe we will light that fire and start a new passion in something, and to get that boulder started, I think this is one of those classes that maybe the kids can pick, and again, you know, maybe we will set a limit at like 10, or a minimum of 10 to 12 to be like, okay, we don't want you to waste your time, so I think this is a great idea, it's a great foundation, let's get the kids in there, and let's get the rock moving, and maybe pick up momentum, because like Chuck, you said, this is a word of mouth, this is advertising, like, hey, let's go, we're having a great time in here, check it out. You know, if I told my kid, everybody knows my kid, what a card catalog was, he would think baseball cards or football cards, he wouldn't know.
He might know.
Anyway, he might know, he should know, but this generation is very hard on attention spans. You tell them to read 3 pages, they get halfway through one, all of a sudden they're looking around at the ceiling. And I think we do have to, and we brought it up before, rewire. We have to start rewiring, and I think one of the steps to that was the cell phone. Taking the cell phones away was key, because they're not doing this every 2 minutes, like, I hear you. They're starting to concentrate. So I think that rewiring is starting to get there, and this is just moving that on and hopefully lighting a fire. That's just my thing. Glenn?
Yeah, just a comment. Our biggest problem, and I'm preaching to myself, is this right here. Because I was an avid reader. I'm struggling to get through a book based off, everybody's seen the movie The Patriot? Well, that's a story about a real life character. Now, of course, Hollywood dramatizes it way more, but if you actually try to get I'm trying to get through the book called The Swamp Fox. It's about a guy named Marion. I think this guy would be, superhero. Well, he wasn't, but he was able to do a bunch of stuff and really made a turn, but it's hard to get through that. You watch the movie The Patriot, and then you try to open up the book about the guy that actually did it, and they go into all these intricate details and stuff. I'm like, but that, I don't know if what I'm saying is making any sense.
You're right, it's a rewiring.
It is.
But yeah, it's a rewiring. And just one quick question: this elective is only going to be limited to 10 students.
Minimum 10 students.
Minimum.
Yeah. Do like
Hopefully you get more, because I was under the impression, and this is just me, that it was only gonna be 10 kids. You only have 10 kids, you're not gonna make that much of a difference in your Keystone
So
pool.
I don't know what the percent is, but 70% of 264, whatever that number is, that's what they said would be interested in it, so.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take it to the next step. Sounds good to me. All right, thank you again. Yeah. All right, moving on. You're up, superintendent's report.
All right. Congratulations to the Northeast Marching Band for earning second place at the LMPA Championship held last Saturday at Veterans Stadium here. Special thanks to Mr. Skelly, his staff, students, and the band boosters for their dedication and hard work throughout the season. Northeast students,
Can I ask a question? How close were we to winning?
oh gosh, I think it was 1.02 points.
1.02, yeah. That's incredible. 1.02 points.
Yeah, right, but that's okay, they did amazing, so it's very exciting. Northeast students showcased their incredible talent in this year's fall musical, Zombie Prom. Thank you to all of the advisors, actors, stage crew, and behind-the-scenes volunteers who made the production a success. It was a great play, or musical. I hope you had the opportunity to go. High school yearbook students attended the Pennsylvania School Press Association Journalism Workshop at Penn State. They will apply what they learned to enhance the written and photojournalism sections of the upcoming yearbook. Northeast high school students had the opportunity to explore careers in health and physical education by attending a career fair at Slippery Rock University. Students gained valuable insights into the future opportunities in this field. The middle school hosted the 3rd annual Builders Club Trail of Treats event, organized entirely by the students. Builder Club continues to develop leadership skills through community service and charitable projects. Thank you to our students, staff, advisors, and community partners for making this event a success. 4th grade students explored the night sky at the Yon Planetarium at Penn State Barron, learning about the constellations and the history of astronomy. The experience supports our district's commitment to engage students in lifelong learning. Parent Square is the Erie County may be sent in with students or dropped off at any school building. I believe the initiative goes through tomorrow, but we all know with everything that's going on and SNAP benefits, any donations will be taken at any time, and we'd be more than happy to be a drop-off location if you can't get to the food bank. We also have uploaded several local family support resources on our district website, so where individuals can pick up food not only in Northeast but across the whole Erie County, and so those resources are on our website. And finally, our high school football team will face Sharon High School this Friday at General McLean High School for the PIAA District 10. Is it semifinal?
Yes.
Semifinal in Edinburgh. Kickoff is 7 p.m. and I believe the tickets must be purchased online. And best of luck to our grade picker. And thank you, Dr. Minnie, for organizing a student stand bus to go.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, perfect. Thank you very much.
What's going on in our district?
A lot of good stuff. All right, board reports. Northwest Tri-County Intermediate Unit, Dr.
I
Blaisdell.
had a very short meeting, it was a half a page. We did have a contest for pumpkins, so that was pretty fun. We had 3 resignations, a tenure, a job description approval. In addition, 3 people were hired and 2 positions were eliminated at Cambridge Springs High School. We had 2 transportation agreements, and 5 other agreements for various providers, and 27 individuals were approved for contracted jobs. We also had the first reading of the therapy dog policy, which they did not have, and we've had for a long time.
All right, thank you very much. Erie County Technical School, Mr. Boyd.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we had a meeting on October 23rd, and unfortunately, I apologize, I was unable to attend the meeting in person tonight. So instead of trying to do a report over the phone, I will send one via email to all of you with some highlights, which will include an updated information on our solar project. We did approve an RFP for that, so we can continue and keep that project moving forward. As you know, we are under some deadlines, December 31st, in order to keep our grants in place. So please watch for that email here in the next couple of days.
All right, appreciate it, Corey. Thank you. All right, School Health Council, Mrs. Phillips.
Meeting tomorrow.
All right, moving on, we're gonna do public participation. This is for agenda items only. Again, if you're gonna speak, please let us know what agenda item you're speaking about. Star 6 unmute. At home, anybody in the audience? Anybody online?
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Hi, this is Jen Kilgus. Hi.
How you doing, Jen?
Good. Hey, yeah, I wanted to just make a comment regarding the writing class, the literature class. I guess one of the things that I was concerned about a few years ago was watching the libraries purge books like crazy, especially at the elementary school. And when you go into a lot of school libraries now, it's like they've turned into more like STEM classrooms, lots of games, lots of toys, and all that has its place. But like you were saying, you know, we need to rewire. So I was, you know, it's like what goes around comes around. I was sad to see a lot of those books. I mean, they were lining the hallways with the books. I brought home a lot because they were classics and wonderful books. But I just wonder, and then when we look at our budget, and I know it's not just us in Northeast, but you see it all over the place, where we spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on educational software, from IXL to games to everything. Do we really feel like all of that is helping our kids? Is it having a positive impact on test scores? Or should we be saying, you need to go pick out a book from the library, you're not gonna sit and play, you know, some math game or some reading game. Like, it all has its place, but just even from a budgeting standpoint, we spend a pile of money on all of that. And I just wonder, are there studies to show, like, is that actually helping our students? So I guess from my point of you. I agree with Dr. Blackstone and, on, you know, just kind of like what is gonna be the impact of that. I mean, I have 3 students and a variety of learners, and I just see it being maybe another situation where you're gonna get only those kids that want to read. I don't know, I don't see, I would rather see money going back into the K through, you know, 12 libraries, and getting books, actual books, not e-books, but books back in the hands of our kids. I just feel like I'm a little old fashioned, but I do feel strongly about all of that. So I would actually love to hear if you feel, you know, all of this educational software and games and all that on iPads, if you really do feel like that it does help our kids, or is it more just of a, you know, a babysitter? So anyways, thank you.
All right, thank you, Jeff. All right, moving on to items for action. It is recommended that the board approve the minutes of the regular meeting of October 16th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Katie, any discussion on that? Seeing none, we'll just do a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, moving on to business. Mr. Fox.
It is recommended that the board approve business items number 1 and 2 as listed.
Do I have a motion? Mac? Second. Any discussion on 1 or 2?
Can we get an expansion on number 2?
On the transfers,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll briefly touch both items. Fund balance commitments, for the 7.5 million, just for a refresh, we did, make an adjustment in September. This adjustment is due to the audit and a new GASB 101 accounting standard, where we have to change the, recognition for accrued compensated absences. And, the prior method was, based on if they were eligible for retirement. If you're eligible for retirement, then that was a trigger of what would cause that expense, future expense to be recognized. Now it's pretty much everybody, and the conservative approach that was recommended that we are taking is anyone who has 5 years of service, we're now including them for compensated absence calculation. And the fund balance commitment is the board committing fund balance for long-term expenditures. So the long-term expenditures that we recommend for commitment include set-asides for 2 months of reserves for health insurance, expenses, claims expenses because we're self-funded, the accrued compensation absence balance, which is now 1.2 million, which was, prior to that, it was $350,000 less due to that GASB accounting change. Other post-employment benefits, this is due to the contracts with our staff for sick leave, retirement benefits that we have, and that's those benefits are an actuarial determined number of 1.3 million, and we have 4.5 million set aside for capital projects, which makes up to $7.559 million. The budget transfer, B2. So when we prepare the budget for the school year, federal programs, at the time we do that, it is an estimate. In the summertime, we get our final numbers after the budget is approved. We get our application that we can submit, and ideally we get that done in July, and we had it done in July, and then there was funding concerns at the federal level, and they pulled back on Title II, so we had to resubmit with no Title II funds, or no Title IV funds. And then we had to resubmit again when they said a couple weeks later, oh no, those funds are gonna be available. So we had 3 submissions, and now that we have our final submissions of what the actual expenditure grant application looks like, I like to true up the expenditures within our general fund budget, so when we're tracking those expenses for the rest of the year, we don't overspend what our grant allows us. So it's a transfer from general fund or local taxpayer funded regular education or the Title I program expenses from the funding source of Title I, II, and IV. That's what this budget transfer is. In Pennsylvania, you cannot adjust your budget, general fund budget, until 90 days after the beginning of the school year. So you can't take any action until after October 31. So typically November is the first time to do it. We'll probably have another one, in February and March, because our federal budget it's as real it is right now, but they also do funding revisions annually in February, March, and they true up those numbers. Those adjustments usually are, we're about 400,000 for our federal programs, Title I, II, and IV. Those adjustments are usually less than $10,000, but there are adjustments. And, so the final for the federal, for the current year that we are in, we won't know until, February, March. So I'll probably have another budget transfer at that point to true up the expenses yet again. And with anything else, sometimes once the budget is passed, we might have a teacher, or a principal say, hey, we need to move money from one category to another. We need to do it from travel to software, or software to books, periodicals, different object, possibly different function. Those also require board action to do transfers from the approved budget that was passed in June. These transfers that I recommend are to modify the budget that was originally approved in June. This one here is just so we can make better accounting, and tracking for grant purposes. Appreciate that. Help?
Clarified, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Any other discussion, anybody? A lot to take in, Jeff, I appreciate the explanation. All right, seeing none, can we have the roll call vote, please?
Dr. Blackstone?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Craig?
Yes.
Mr. Frugia?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Pavilion?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Mrs. Brody?
Yes.
Mr. Wargo?
Yes.
9-0.
Thank you, everyone. All right, personnel, Dr. Hartzell.
It is recommended that the board approve personnel items number 1 through 7 as listed.
Do I have a motion? Jane, do I have a second? Nick, any discussion on that? I know there was a lot there that we had some time to look over. Any questions? All right, seeing none, can I have the roll call vote, please?
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Craig?
Yes.
Mr. Frugia?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Pavilion?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Mrs. Brody?
Yes.
Mr. Wargo?
Yes.
Dr. Blackstone?
Yes.
9-0.
And I did want to, welcome Emily Bryant, I don't believe she's here. Most school districts, just like ours, will hold their staff for 60 days. So we're at a point now where we're stealing from each other, across the IU, so we welcome, Emily when she joins us.
Absolutely. All right, perfect, thank you. All right, student travel request, Dr. Hartzell.
It is recommended that the board approve student travel request items number 1 and 2 as listed.
Do I have a motion? Chuck, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on those two? Okay, can I have the roll call vote, Mr. Fox?
Mr. Craig?
Yes.
Mr. Frugia?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Pavilion?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Mrs. Brody?
Yes.
Mr. Wargo?
Yes.
Dr. Blackstone?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
9-0.
Thank you. All right, moving on, staff travel request.
It is recommended that the board approve staff travel request items number 1 through 4 as listed.
Motion, anybody? Chuck, do I have a second? Nick, you got it. All right, any discussion on those 4?
Just a question.
Yeah, go on.
Just doing some rough math here. That's like $7,000. All these trips are absolutely necessary with the budget that we constantly have trouble balancing. It's just a question.
I can let you know that during our budgetary process, we do plan for professional development and the staff, and they are included as part of our budgetary process every year. Some are, included, in the contracts, and then each building level has a small budget for professional learning, and building levels determine how they're gonna utilize their professional learning, and once the money is used up, then at each building level as well. And there is money provided in each, in our Act 93 agreement, as well as all the administrative contracts as well for professional learning. So it's part of the agreements as well. And we do plan and budget for that during the budgetary process at the beginning of the year.
Anybody else, any discussion? All right, seeing none, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Ferruccio?
Yes.
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Rabilia?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodey?
Yes.
Mr. Wargo?
Yes.
Dr. Gladstone?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Craig?
Yes.
9-0.
Thank you, everyone. All right, moving on to curriculum, Dr. Hartzell.
It is recommended that the board approve curriculum items number 1 and 2 as listed.
Do I have a motion? Nick, second?
Second.
I'll give it to Chuck,
Give it to Chuck.
All right, any discussion on those two? Seeing none, can I have the roll call vote, please?
Mr. Luke?
Yes.
Mr. Rabilia?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodey?
Yes.
Mr. Wargo?
Yes.
Dr. Gladstone?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Craig?
Yes.
Mr. Ferruccio?
Yes.
9-0.
Thank you. I think it's great seeing intro to agriculture course coming back. I think that's fantastic. All right, additional educational operational functions, Dr. Hartzell.
It is recommended that the board approve the attached PSBA resolution urging Pennsylvania General Assembly to end the budget impasse.
So moved.
Second. Aileen. All right, are there any discussion on that one?
We just need to get in gear.
Let's get it rolling. All right, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Rabilia?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Mrs. Rhodey?
Yes.
Mr. Wargo?
Yes.
Dr. Gladstone?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
Mr. Craig?
Yes.
Mr. Ferruccio?
Yes.
And Mr. Luke?
Yes.
9-0.
Items for future presentation, discussion, and/or board action, Dr. Hartzell.
All right, we'll have our annual audit report during the first board meeting in December. Welcome new board members. And then we'll also have our board reorganization on that same evening. We will also swear in our new members on that same evening. And hopefully we will receive our final numbers and reports and have our data presentation at the second meeting in December. So a lot of exciting information coming soon.
Sounds good. All right, upcoming district events.
Yesterday, today and tomorrow are half-day student dismissals for parent-teacher conferences. Veterans Day is Tuesday, November 11th. The Northeast High School will host a talent show on Friday, November 21st. We have Thanksgiving break Wednesday, November 26th through Monday, December 1st. We have Candy Cane Lane at the Northeast Elementary School, Tuesday, December 2nd through Friday, December 5th. And at our next meeting, we'll probably start announcing all of our promotions that are coming up for the holidays, believe it or not.
Years flying by.
Thanksgiving and Christmas are right around the corner.
Definitely. All right, anybody got anything to discuss? All right, moving on, we'll do public participation. Star 6 unmute at home. Please remember policy 903, direct everything towards me. If you do talk, do we have anybody that would like to talk? Anybody on that? All right, at this time, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Hey, before we do that, I have some concerns. It's been nagging me for a long time, and I don't know exactly when to present it, but I'm gonna present it now. So if it's not proper, just forgive me, it's ignorance. There's some situations that are going on in the district. I've asked questions, and I get the answer of confidentiality. Now, I understand that. Is there a problem?
No, how about, I think what you're talking about is a student matter, so can we go into an executive
We can go
session?
Well, it's more than just the student.
Well, it's student related.
And I'm not foreshadowing anything. I'm just saying that it seems like we're getting told confidentiality and the board members don't understand what's really going on with many different situations. And I have the impression or the feeling that a lot of things are getting hidden underneath this confidentiality. Transparency breeds accountability. We talk all the time about being transparent. It's pretty bad as a board member, and I don't understand, maybe somebody can explain it to me. I don't understand how me, or any of us as elected officials, be kept in the dark about everything.
We'll go to executive and
Yeah,
talk
but
about-
if
that's
there's something
executive.
specific you wanna discuss, we can always discuss that in executive session, but I mean, there are limits to the confidentiality and that board members have the governance role versus an administrative role, and you're always gonna be, you as a board member are always gonna be entitled to know what you need to know to make your decisions. And if we have issues with that, we can discuss it in executive session, because not everything can be, because executive session is appropriate to disclose otherwise confidential information.
Certain things will come in front of us that we need to make a vote on. We need to know, certain things, or not know what's going on sometimes. Not the whole thing, so, do we wanna talk about it in executive?
Yeah, cause I have a bunch of questions now.
Okay.
I have like 36 questions.
Okay.
Oops, sorry.
It's all right. Are there any questions before we move on? Nikki, go ahead.
So totally aside from that, whatever that was, I just, again, wanna be here and be the ray of sunshine for specifically the middle school. So to Dr. Garland, we had parent-teacher conferences today, and kudos to the middle school teachers. Outstanding job with conferences today, but outstanding job for all of the district teachers, Ms. Fitch specifically, and the role that she led, and just sets into for zombie prom. I mean, we're talking teachers who throughout the course of the day, they work and then they put in a full-time job on top of that. So I think the board needs to recognize the positive things that are happening within this district and not be clouded by the judgment of maybe a one-off. So I would just say from a parent who sees things from the outside, thank you to the administration, thank you to the teachers, and thank you to the board. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? The Northeast Board of School Directors will meet in executive session following this evening's meeting concerning areas permissible under Act 84, which include confidentialities protected by law, specifically student matters and attorney-client matters. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Nick, second. Mac, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.